Now, in The Legend of Zelda are quite a lot of disturbing things. Stuff that's straight up scary, especially if you know the details. So let's find out which ones seen in the entire series give us the most nightmares. Number 10. Now, I don't want to add too many obvious things to this list because that's just plain boring, and I want you to see some actual new stuff and a different perspective on it all. However, our first one is a bit of a cliché, because in Majora's Mask there's always a bit of a haunting presence. That uncomfortable feeling breathing down your neck, and that's all because of one thing: the moon above you. Now, atmosphere is incredibly important in this game, and one of the biggest factors is this moon. It always looms over you and is everywhere in the game, so it constantly reminds you of this horrible event that could be happening at any moment. And its face is scary. Like and subscribe, 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 like and subscribe. Clearly it belongs on the list, but it's not a very creative pick, I will give you that. But the moon's face will certainly haunt you for some time. Number 9. 100 years prior to the events of Breath of the Wild, an evil known as the Calamity Ganon rose up and laid waste to Hyrule. Unable to be defeated, it was sealed within Hyrule Castle, where it has grown in power ever since. In my opinion, it's a bit of an eerie place. The closer you get to it, the more haunting sights you will see. Like the square with the fountain that's completely destroyed. It's a site filled with destruction, and countless people used to live here, but now they are no more. When you read the diaries, see the differences between certain places compared to how they were back in the day, and what went down in this place, it all becomes even worse. We have never seen Hyrule Castle in such a bad state. It's quite scary to see what could actually happen if Ganondorf got his way. It's even worse than Ocarina of Time's Hyrule Castle in the adult era, and that was already a gruesome sight. Thousands upon thousands screamed out of fear right before they vanished from this planet. Number 8. Now, dire situations can make people go mad quite easily. All around us we can see people going completely mental over the smallest things. And in the Link Between Worlds, the citizens of Hyrule are in a far worse state than we can imagine. And there's one group that especially scares me: the Masked Followers. A group of Hyruleans that have began to wear masks in the images of monsters. They are a cult led by an elder who preaches to resist the corruption of thievery and to don the masks of monsters, which he states will save them from the world crumbling. Another follower, the Masked Granny, states she is the elder's housekeeper and was made to join as a part of the job. Given that she was made to join, it may be that some followers have been forced into the group. This is the part where it gets really scary. Their beliefs are already extreme and are growing every day. And by the looks of it, their way of recruiting becomes more and more aggressive, which is again worrying. It could easily be that if Link never showed up to save the land, that they would go further and further and really become monsters like they said, if you know what I mean by this. Number 7. Now, weird, unexplainable things can be seen quite a lot in the Legend of Zelda series. They included a ton of weird folklore stories from Japan after all, and our next one is actually inspired by a Japanese horror story. Well, according to Shigeru Miyamoto at least. The spectral hand of a young girl from Skyward Sword, which can be found in the toilet of the Knight Academy at night. Alright, in 3 seconds I'm going to mispronounce all these names. Here we go! Once Link receives Colin's letter, he can choose to deliver it to Creme or give it to the hand. If he chooses to give the letter to the hand, she will believe the letter was meant for her, and give Link 5 gratitude crystals in return. Now all of this sounds lovely, but it gets a lot more creepy and weird right after you do this. Because this mysterious ghost hand will then be stroking Colin's head while he is sleeping, without him knowing. Now, as you can imagine, this is as creepy as it gets, and you should be scared what will come next. Because I think if he really knew what was happening, then he would be terrified for quite a long time. Number 6. Now, running around the world of Hyrule, you will encounter a lot of beautiful places. And on the side of that, a graveyard or two. Here you will for sure encounter some Poes and Redads, However, they aren't the scariest part. It's actually something that Link does to them that kind of makes me nervous. Now, Poes attack by swinging their lanterns madly at Link, right after they rise from their disturbed tombstones. So this entire situation is kind of Link's fault, because he was messing with them after all. And these Poes, who are basically dead people stuck in limbo, will leave their souls behind when they are defeated, which can then be collected inside a bottle. And you can sell these for some sweet rupees. So you're basically capturing someone's soul so they can never go to the afterlife for money. If you think about that, it already seems extremely disturbing and really scary for the person that it happens to. These Poes will never move on and will be forever stuck in a dark place, completely in fear of what happens next. Number 5. The Wind Waker is special in a way. It has a cool open world theme, lots of places to explore, convinces you to subscribe to Dr.Wily, like all his videos, and even click the bell button. It's great! However, one island has a bit of a dark secret. A place filled with poor souls collected by an evil ship. The Maze of Diamond Steppe Island. Inside, you will have to go through a lot of warp pipes, and at the very end of it, you will get the ghost ship chart, which marks the island appearances of the ghost ship on certain moon phases. Now, if you look around this place once, you will see a ton of old ships completely out of order. And by the looks of it, this is the graveyard of all the ships that the famous ghost ship has taken down. We can already see that the ghost ship attacks in games like Phantom Hourglass, and many people disappeared because of it. So clearly this maze is the result of that. It's creepy, a bit scary, and filled with sadness, because everyone on those ships lost their life. Number 4. Now, we mentioned Majora's Mask before in this video, however, now we're going to look at something even worse. Because in the entire game, there's one mask that certainly has the most disturbing and scary origin. The All Night Mask, which you can get from the Curiosity Shop on the night of the final day for 500 rupees if you prevent Seikon from stealing. This allows Link to stay awake and never fall asleep, which seems extremely handy and a bit odd in a bad way. But if Link wears the mask while listening to the stories of Anju's grandmother, then he will not fall asleep and gets a reward for that. So it's great. Right? Well, no. Because according to a gossip stone, the mask was originally used as a torture device of insomnia, which basically means that they would put this mask on someone's face. Because of that, they couldn't sleep, they went essentially insane, and were forced to tell everything. So really, the thought behind the actual use of this mask, and what it might have done in the past, is scary and disturbing. So that's why it's on the list. Number 3. As you've seen by now, there are a lot of little details in the Legend of Zelda series that can completely change your view on certain things. And another one of those is Darmani, because his story isn't only sad, but also quite scary in multiple ways. In life, he was a renowned Goron, was considered the greatest warrior of his tribe, and possible heir to the Goron throne, but he suffered a terrible accident when he ventured to Snowhead Mountain. On his way there, he was knocked off the path and into the deep valley below by the blizzard caused by Big Goron and lost his life because of this. In death, he was doomed to haunt his somber grave. He became full of regrets and felt sorrow for failing his people. Luckily enough, Link saves him, but his fate already sounds dreadful. He's stuck in limbo and feels lonely, sad, and scared of what to do or what happens next. And there's even one more detail visually that can scare some, because he has a scar on his stomach that is not featured on Goron Link. But when you play the Elegy of Emptiness as a Goron, it is there. So this may be a battle scar, or perhaps the wound from when he fell to his death, which looks nasty and painful, making this whole package, when you think about it, worthy of this list for sure. Number 2. In Ocarina of Time, there are some spooky things, like the Shadow Temple, but everybody already mentions that, so that's boring and I don't want to be like them. So we are going to look at something that's not as well known and still really messed up. The guard in the back alley. Link finds a wounded soldier in a back alley who tells him that he tried to save Zelda from Ganondorf, but he didn't succeed. And so Zelda escaped, Ganondorf took off as well, blah blah blah, you know the rest of this game, it's more than 20 years old, come on. However, after you talk to him and he tells you all he knows, he straight on moves to the next realm, hopefully heaven. But the fact that he just fades away right in front of you and doesn't move anymore if you talk to him after that says more than enough. It's really dark, scary, and a bit much for the age rating of this game. Number 1. Now for the creme de la creme, the golden piece of scary nugget that you have all been waiting for. And it's seen in Ikana Canyon. The Spirit House, a place filled with the dead that are only there to be defeated in an arena, which sounds as bad as it is. However, there's one little detail that will put everything in perspective and show the dire situation of the place, making it all more spooky and unsettling. The place serves as a test of strength, where for a price of just 30 rupees, Link can fight the 4 Poes sisters. But if the Song of Healing is played before speaking to the Poe Collector, he will lower the price to 10 rupees, while commenting something quite dark. Not all spirits can be healed by that song, which means his soul is doomed, he will be forever stuck in limbo, and all of this is quite a scary thought in my opinion. It makes you look at the place differently for sure. You have healed so many souls with this song that have gone through terrible things. However, the Poe Collector is so far beyond that you can't save him. Now, I will admit, I didn't grab any conventional scary things in the series, and that's because I want to show you something different instead of the same old. And these little details certainly make it scary and unsettling. So now you know what kind of scary things there are in these games. Thanks for watching, you lovely. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to click that subscribe button, click the bell. Watch more of my top 10s. I have a ton more on Zelda. So just look on the screen and click things. Yay.